Most career coaches think they have a marketing problem. They don't. They have a client success problem. Because if your clients aren't getting the results they're paying for, your business will eventually die, no matter how good your marketing funnel is. And trust me, I know this because I've worked with hundreds of career coaches and I've seen the inside of some of the best career coaching and worse programs that are out there. And I know that the difference between you actually growing and scaling a profitable, impactful, and successful career coaching business, it's more about client success than it has to do with your marketing department. So in this video, I am going to show you why client success is actually your number one marketing department. And in this video, we're going to talk about why you need to think about client success as the marketing department and the engine that creates a flywheel effect, because better results equals better testimonials, which equals better marketing. And two, we're going to talk about why you should be thinking about the KPIs of client success as just as important, if not more important, than the KPIs inside of your marketing department. And three, a real life example of a client joining our $24,000 premium coaching program because she saw how we prioritize client success. If we have not yet met, my name is Daniel Botero, and I've been in the career coaching industry for over a decade now, and I help career coaches go from inconsistent revenue to consistent 10K to 100K plus month while building profitable, impactful, and scalable career coaching businesses. And let me start with the big idea of the video. Client success is not just about delivery of your service. It is going to be the marketing engine of your business. And if you do this one department right, the whole business will take care of itself. And here's the thing, every time you help a client get a job, that becomes into a testimonial, that testimonial becomes into a case study, that case study becomes into a LinkedIn post or part of your marketing machine. And the more testimonials and case studies you post, the more trust you build. And look, we are in a trust recession, and there's plenty of fake gurus out there that are claiming to make this crazy transformations, right? One of my favorite business influencers, Alex Hormozi, wrote a book, $100 million offers. And in that book, it taught people how to create offers people couldn't refuse. The problem is people took that out of hand and are promising things that they can't deliver. And so when you have a trust recession, the best way to combat that is through real success, real testimonials. And that starts with really good client success. Because what sells better than promises? Proof. Proof over promises. And the best way to get proofs is by actually delivering amazing client results. Now let's break that down a little bit deeper. When a client gets in a call, they're skeptical. They're afraid to invest their hard-earned cash or sometimes no cash, and they have to access to credit to be able to work with a career coach like yourself. And so they need to be able to overcome the belief that you are the right coach to help them overcome that journey, or also the limiting beliefs that they might have about them being able to be successful within your program. And so because a lot of times they might have already booked a call with you because they see you on a pedestal of the successful person on social media or LinkedIn, they're now afraid like, well, Daniel's successful, but can I be successful with Daniel's strategies? And the good thing about testimonials is that it shows them that if this person can do it, you could do it too. And when you can show more proof of people like them in a similar situation like them that were able to generate success or get through that transformation, this can be done. It dramatically decreases their level of skepticism they have for you and increases the trust they have for you, which ultimately leads to more clients. So when you can have a really good client success department, you actually create a flywheel effect for your business. Think about it like this. Better results equals more testimonials. More testimonials equals more warm sales calls. More sales calls equals more clients equals better results equals more testimonials, and you keep going and going and going and going and going. Now, this breaks very easily because if you don't have a good client success department, then no matter how good your marketing department is, if they're not getting results, you're actually gonna get negative reviews, you're gonna get bad word of mouth, and your business will eventually die. But you can actually have a really good business that has really good client success and a bad marketing department that can still survive through word of mouth, but a good marketing department with bad client success won't survive long term, which is one of the things I am really proud of, is that because I've been obsessed with client success, it's why I've been in business for over a decade now. But here's the problem. Most coaches treat marketing like a science, but they treat client success like an afterthought, right? And I get it, because if you're just starting out, you really need to generate revenue. So you're so focused on marketing, lead gen, and sales. And I understand that that's the input that's required to get clients to generate money so that you can pay your bills. But if you are super strategic about the way that you do marketing and you have all these marketing KPIs, but then you have client success as an afterthought and you're not tracking marketing KPIs and you're ignoring the level of scientific, methodical, constant improvement that that department needs, then you ultimately are setting yourself up for failure because you're putting all your eggs on short-term thinking and nothing in the long term. Now, there's one thing I took away from PepsiCo is that you actually have to think and balance short-term with long-term, because I understand the need. I get you. I understand the need for having leads and clients come in. But once you've a little bit stabilized that, right? And for us, it's like, could you get to a point where you can get 40 leads a week, that leads to 5 sales calls, and that leads to 1 client? After that, once you get to the point where you're getting 1 client a week and you're getting to $10,000 to $20,000 a month, that's where I think you need to then focus your attention on client success and make this your priority for the next 6 months to a year before you think about scaling above $10,000 to $20,000. And I think that's the mistake that coaches make, is because once you get to $10,000 to $20,000, they're just wanting to scale that to $40,000, $60,000, $100,000, and they're just scaling marketing, not scaling client success, and this becomes an afterthought. And so here's my challenge to you. What if we track client success metrics just like we would track marketing metrics? So in one side, we have marketing KPIs, views, leads, webinar attendance, sales calls, closing rate, cash collected. But what is the equivalent in the client success department? Are you tracking laggard indicators for understanding how your clients are performing inside of your program, and what are the bottlenecks that your clients are experiencing inside of your program to help you focus more attention on whether it's clarity, maybe it's a resume, maybe it's interviewing, maybe it's networking, maybe it's salary negotiation. What are the KPIs that you should be thinking about in client success? Well, let me give you some of the most popular KPIs that we ask our clients to track when we work together. So jobs before goal date. So one of the KPIs that I really like tracking is jobs before goal date. And this is because not everybody's trying to get a job in 90 days. Some are working and they're willing to be a little bit more patient for the right goal. So one of the things that we ask our clients to do is that during the onboarding call, they set a goal with their client of how fast they want to get a job in. A lot of times it's 90 days. A lot of times it's 6 months. Sometimes it's even a year. But if we have very clear expectations, and we'll talk about the happy client formula, which is expectations minus reality, later down in this video. But if we have very clear expectations, then we know how much work should we be prescribing our client in order for them to be able to achieve that goal. And then we want to measure that their expectations, like, hey, I want to get a job in 100 days or 3 months or 6 months, to the reality of how long it took them to do that. And what that allows you to do is to see is, are you able to meet your client's expectations? And what that KPI allows you to see is, are you being able to generate happy clients, which is expectations minus reality. If their expectation is to get a job in 3 months, but it took them 6 months, it doesn't matter that they got a job. There's a 3 month of lower expectations because it took them 3 months longer than they expected when they joined the program. So it's important to track that so you know what to fix. Another good KPI is time to job offer, or from the time they joined your program to the time they got the job offer. This is just more of a vanity metric that you can use in your marketing, but it's also a good indicator. I like jobs before goal date as a better KPI there, but both work really well. Another KPI that I would challenge you to track is, what was their salary currently or the job before they were let go, and what is their compensation after? So what is the increase of the average person that goes into your program? So let's say that the average person that starts working with you are making $100,000, but after they start working with you, because of everything that you do with them, they're able to make $25,000 more, right? And if your program is $5,000, then you can say there's a 500% return on investment, right? Like, so tracking that information from the beginning and the onboarding form, and then tracking how much they make once they stop working with you, is going to be very good for marketing purposes. Again, client success feeds your marketing department. Another KPI that I want you to track is, how many applications lead to an interview. Now, I never tracked this number, but when I did, my business really changed, because what I noticed is that when a client was getting less than 10% of application to interview ratio, means that for every 10 applications they did, 1 interview came out. That's when I realized that that was good quality application. But when their ratio was like 2% or like less than 10%, I knew that there was a quality of application or networking issue that we needed to fix. So by you tracking what is the application to interview ratio, you're going to be able to see what is the quality that your clients are doing, and therefore be able to fix. Is it because they're applying to the wrong job, a clarity issue? Is it because their resume is not standing out, so it's a resume issue? Is it because they're not networking, because it's just more of a relationship issue, like networking issue? And then you're going to be able to solve that. So definitely, application to interview ratio is a really, really good metrics to track. Another KPI here is interviews to offers ratio. We want to make sure that your clients that are getting interviews are now being able to communicate themselves well and being able to get offers. So if you could track that, then you know, okay, I have 10 clients in the interview stages right now. Well, if your interview to job offer ratio, let's say is 30%, then you know you can expect roughly 3 of those 10 clients to be able to get offers, so then you know that you're gonna have more spots available. So these are laggard indicators. I also want you to track the net promoter score. So asking your clients from a scale of 1 to 10 how likely they are to recommend you to another job seeker is an important metric to do. And again, the whole thing here is that just like you're scientific about the way you do marketing, I want you to be scientific about client success. I reviewed the client success data like this on a weekly leadership meeting with my team when I was a career coach, and we're able to identify what the bottleneck within client success is. And then if we knew we had a resume issue, we would go buy resume courses. We would go hire resume experts that were better than us and have them work with us and teach our team how to do resumes. If it was interviews, same thing. And we always wanted to build the capability of where we saw that there was a ratio issue that we needed to fix. So the main thing here is I want you to treat client success like if it was a marketing funnel. Another thing that I want you to ask, another thing I want you to track is what percentage of your clients leave you a recommendation or a testimonial, right? That needs to be at least 50%, if not 60% or more. And that way, again, that drives your marketing engine. Nothing's gonna be more powerful than you posting recommendations or testimonials on your social media from your actual clients. That's gonna just drive way more leads and way more clients. So now think about this. If you were to track those KPIs and improve them week after week, what do you think that leads to? More testimonials, more referrals, more retention, better reputation. Not only does that just massively drive your marketing department, but also it's going to also increase your client success, because the more success you have, the more clients can say, hey, it's not your systems and processes that don't work. It's their lack of execution that's leading them to not get the results they want. So when they can see a wall of testimonials and recommendations that this is allowing them to get the dream job, they're now going to execute it and take more accountability for the lack of results, which leads to you getting better testimonials, because then they're going to take more accountability, more execution leads to better results. So I want you to see how like this whole business is interconnected, but the middle of your business, which is client success, is the body, is the most important part. And this is why it works so well. In the most simplest terms, a happy client, a client that's going to refer to you clients, a client that's going to give you testimonials, a client that's just going to like be a evangelical about your situation, a client that's going to just speak volumes of what you did for them. A happy client is somebody whose expectations were met or over-delivered. Right? So if somebody comes into you and says, hey, Daniel, I want a job in the next 6 months making $100,000, and they join your program and you help them get a job in 3 months making $150,000, what do you think this person is going to say about you, right? And that's why I really want you to make sure that you understand this formula. Happy client equals expectations minus reality. Because what I see a lot of career coaches make, especially in newer ones, is that they have a marketing department that's selling the expectations. They're saying, hey, guarantee money back, you're gonna get a job in 1 month, right? Or guarantee you're gonna make a job making $1 million. And they're promising all these things that they cannot deliver. And yes, that's the same things like that online are gonna attract a lot of clients and leads. Absolutely. But if someone comes into your program thinking they're gonna get a job making $1 million in 2 weeks, even if you can get them a job making $150,000 in 3 months, which I would say is a really good result, they're not going to be happy because their expectation was 2 weeks, $1 million, and the reality was 3 months, $150K. And so I say that because you have to be careful of what you promise in marketing, because that is what their expectations is when they come into client success. So this happy client formula is something that the marketing needs to be aware of, client success needs to be aware of, and I promise you, in this world where people promise the world, nothing's going to be in a trust recession that we're in, then you set in very clear expectations with your clients, with you showing testimonials and you telling the client, hey, unfortunately, I don't know anybody that can truly get you a job that pays you $1 million in 2 weeks. But what I could do if you want to work with me is $150,000 in 3 months. Now, that's based on your niche, your experience, and your location, but I'm using that as an example because when you are marketing and when you are having sales calls with clients, there's only two things that you can change. You can either reset expectations to something you can truly deliver, or you can increase the reality. Either of those work. As long as there's a positive outcome in the end, you're going to have testimonials, referrals, and again, create that flywheel effect. Now, this is what happened in real life, right? I had a client, I had a sales call actually last week, and this particular client had seen some of my videos. So marketing is working and we were setting kind of clear expectations. But you know what ultimately sold her? Was in our sales call, she was concerned about client success. She was concerned that she had already worked with different coaches that had overpromised and underdelivered. So expectations high, reality lower, sad client, right? And so now there's a lack of trust there. And she now is assuming that all the coaches and all the business consultants are the same. But one of the things that stood out to her the most is that I talked a lot about client success, that I make videos like this. Now, all my videos are not just about marketing. And in our sales call, I talked a lot about how client success is the most important department. And what's interesting is I'm going to share the link, but inside of our conversation, she was able to see that I meant what I said, that I actually was walking the walk. The client success is the most important department in our business. And yes, marketing is important, but nothing will survive long term if we don't have a good product. So what I'll actually share with you is a blog, and we'll put it here, of her documenting her decision making and why she decided to join our premium program, which is $24,000 a year, where she walks through step by step of her decision making on why she wanted to work with us and her train of thought, and she breaks it down. So shout out to her for sharing that, because for me it was the first time of me actually being able to see the inside of a career coach's decision making. But all that to say is, if you're serious about building a long-term career coaching business, if you're serious about making this profitable, scalable, and impactful, if you care about real transformation for real clients, all I gotta tell you is take client success just a tad more serious than you take marketing. And that if you take care of your clients, they will take care of you. And that there's nothing you can do in marketing that will drive up more sales than a client success department. Now, if you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're a career coach that says, hey, I'm gonna raise my hand, Daniel, I think I am good at client success, I have really good experience, but I want to take my client success to the next level. Like, I want to learn all the playbooks, what are the KPIs, what are the benchmarks, what are the best ways to deliver a scalable program without sacrificing the one-on-one white glove service, then I want you to hit the link below and just have a conversation with us. We would love to dive into, do a whole business audit on your business. I'll even do a client success audit on you to understand what is it that you're doing with your clients, to try to get to the root cause of what is it that's working in your client success department and what is not. And if we have spots available and we feel like we can help re-amp your department, we could talk about what that looks like. Again, thank you so much for watching these videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.